All right, today we are working on our practice test in our CERT Prep tab. In case you were wondering, just to make sure we're all on the same page, the CERT Prep tab in JasperActive is the way that you access the practice test. We worked on this last week and we're going to continue on it today. So from our JasperActive screen, the one you're used to seeing, all the way at the end, the CERT Prep tab, click there. Be patient as it's going to load the blue screen of tests, right? The Word Associate 2019 Practice Exam 1, right here, if I hover over it, I get my two modes, training mode and testing mode. We are completing this in training mode because we want access to the help feature and unlimited time. So you are going to hover over what says training mode and click on it. It should then ask you if you want to resume a test or start a new test. Now, I know you don't want to start over, so you are going to click resume test. If you have missed the classes where we started this exam, or you accidentally submitted yours early, you're going to have to start a new test, unfortunately. And today we're going to be starting with Project 3, so you're going to have to come back and do 1 and 2 at another time. So, resume test. In order to launch the test that we've already been working on, when we are finished with this test, you are going to submit a screenshot with a score of at least 700 out of 1,000 to get full credit for this assignment. So, again, click resume test, unless you don't have one, and then you're going to have to start anew. Then just be patient as it's going to load the test. Now, if this is your first time launching this test, you're going to get some pop-ups at the top of your screen. It's going to ask you if you want to download the test resources, and you're going to need to follow the prompts in order to download the test resources and open up this exam. Oh, good. That's going to go away. All right, here we go. So when you launch the exam, because the last time we were together, we clicked grade project after project 2, it should open up to project 3. If that's not the case and you're not looking at the ice cream shop project, then you're going to need to go to the summary tab. Summary is right here. Click on summary. At any point during this exam, you can click on summary to see all of the questions. And then if you scroll down to the ice cream, click on the caret to expand it, click on task 1, and then click go. At any point, you can go to summary and go back to any question as long as you have not finished the test. Once you click finish test, you are done and there is no going back. At the end of this class period today, we're going to click save test, and then we're going to continue on with this practice exam during social studies later this week. Thursday, if you have Mr. Witt or Mrs. Kuzer, I'll be seeing you for MOS, or Friday, I'll be seeing Mrs. Grabinski's classes. All right, so ice cream, task 1. Click on it, click go. If you're already there, you're just waiting for me. It's going to say retrying the project will not erase any changes you made, but will reset the changes. Do you wish to continue? Yes, continue. All right, open up to project 3 of 7, ice cream. All right, because we are in training mode, we've got a help button. This help button, if you click on it and then look here just below the question, you will get step-by-step. If you scroll down, you will see all of the steps to complete this, just like you would in a JasperActive lesson. JasperActive lessons give you all the steps. Click here, click there. Same thing for the help button on your Geometrics practice exam. All right, on the first page, we are going to sort the table alphabetically by flavor from A to Z. So on the first page, I'm already on the first page. I'm looking for the table. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Here I can see this table. It's in orange. And I'm going to click on it, maybe more than once. But click on it until you can see your table selector. That's right here. That is this button. It's a box with a plus sign in it, your table selector. You must use the table selector to complete this question because you need to select the entire table. So click on the table selector right there. When I do that, I get a little mini toolbar that pops up. I also get my bonus blue tabs. Don't forget, if you're working with a table or a shape or a picture, you're going to get some bonus blue tabs. And you're probably going to use those on your exam if you have them to complete the task. So we're going to sort this table alphabetically by flavor from A to Z. I'm going to click on my Layout tab. And then right here to the right is a button that says Sort. It's right next to the Convert to Text button that we used last week when we were working on the first two projects. So right here, A to Z arrow, click Sort. Okay, that's going to open up your sort box. And because I had the entire table selected, it's telling me down below that my list has header row. If you don't have that circle selected, it probably means you didn't select the whole table. You have to use your header row in order for this to work. So if you don't see that, if that's not selected, click cancel, go out, select your entire table again. Not just these rows, but the entire table, and then click sort. All right, because we have a header row or a row at the top that's telling us everything underneath it, I can then choose what to sort by with the drop-down menu. I'm not going to type what I want to sort by in here. We don't use typing to sort, but we use the drop-down. What's available to us? Flavor or flavor of the. And the question asked me to sort the table alphabetically by flavor. So flavor, I'm going to click that. It was already selected, but if it weren't, you click the drop-down, select flavor. And then we're sorting it is text. And ascending means A to Z. So flavor, ascending, A to Z. Now, if there were another item that I needed to sort by, I would click on the drop down and choose the next one. But this only gives me one, so I'm going to click OK. And then if I look at my table, it now is alphabetized A to Z by flavor, starting with chocolate and going through whole bean, W, right? Flavor is the heading. That's the header row, right? We're not alphabetizing the word flavor. We're just alphabetizing the flavors underneath it. Okay, that's how you complete that task. We're going to now mark that completed. And we're moving on to task 2. Okay, task 2 is telling us on the second page below the heading Key Clients, convert the text the party people ... I scream you scream to a list with default bullets. All right. So, very first thing, as with every other task that you come across, you're going to have to either select some text, usually, or a table or a graphic or whatever it is we're working with. So this tells us on the second page below the heading Key Clients. So I'm going to go down to the second page. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm looking for the heading Key Clients, which is right here. The heading is usually in a different color or it's in a different font. The heading just means that it tells us what's going to come below it, the heading, right? Key Clients, and then it's listing their biggest clients. Now it tells me further, convert the text the party people ... I scream you scream, which means I start by selecting the party people and drag all the way through I scream you scream right there. Notice I did not select the first sentence. I just selected what it told me to, the text, the party people, through I scream you scream. And we're going to convert this to a list with default bullets. What that means, default, is that we're just going to use the one that comes automatically. So kind of like if you start a new video game, you get the default character or the character that comes for free. If you want along the way, you can make some upgrades, but the default is just the one that comes with it, right? It's the one that's there already. Nothing special about it. It's standard, right? So for this, if you had your little mini toolbar pop up, you could use the bullets button there. Otherwise, on the Home tab, if I look in the paragraph group right here, I can see my bullets. And I'm just going to click the button, the bullets button right there, click it. And it gives us the default bullet, which is the solid circle. Now, on other questions, we have used the drop-down arrow to maybe choose a custom bullet. We did that with trees the other day from our Geometrics templates folder. We did define new bullet, right? But for this one, we're just clicking on the button to give us the default bullet or the one that comes with it, right? Mark that completed. We're on to number 3. Okay, task 3. On the first page, immediately before the quote, "We love the unique ... Salt Lake City," we're going to insert an Austin quote text box. And then we're going to move the quote into the text box. So first page, I'm headed back up. First thing I have to do is find the quote. It starts with the words, "We love the unique." So looking right here, I can see it in orange. It's got the quotes on the end. It starts, "We love the unique," and ending with ... Salt Lake City. Okay. Now, before we do this question, I want you to turn on your show hide formatting. This is important. It's something you should always use on your exam. And I want you to get used to turning it on. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So, on your home tab, go to the home tab. In the paragraph group, you've either got an open group like this or you've got a button that says paragraph that you can click the arrow for more options. You are going to click on your show hide button. It is right there. And then you're going to be able to see all those little paragraph marks that hang out behind the scene and make it a little easier to complete these questions. So everybody turn on your show hide. Home tab in the paragraph group, right where we used our bullets last time. Show hide right there. Okay, that's the first step for this one. All right, then I'm going to click right before the quotes in the "We love the unique creative flavors." Okay, right before the quotes. Put your cursor right there. And I'm going to insert an Austin quote text box. Now, you might be wondering, what is an Austin quote text box? Most important part about that is that it's a text box. You're going to find with these instructions, usually the end of the information tells you what it is, and the beginning of the information tells you what kind of what it is, right? So, Austin quote text box. So this happens to be on the Insert tab. Not all things that we insert are on the Insert tab, but this is. So click Insert. And notice along the way all of the things that we could insert. There's a table, there are pictures, there's 3D models and shapes. We've got some smart art. There are a lot of things that may come up on the exam on this Insert tab. We've got our link. We used that when we inserted a link to a web page last week. Bookmark, we're going to look at that in a little bit. We've also got our header and our footer. And then right next to that is our text box. Now, you might not have the words text box on your ribbon. Your might look a little bit different, but you would have this icon that's a rectangle with an A, capital A in there. And we're going to click on the arrow for the text box because we're not just going to insert a text box. We're going to insert an Austin quote text box, which is just a type of text box. And when you click the arrow for text box, you're going to see all of the options, and then notice that the second one on the top is called Austin quote. Once you see Austin quote in your text box, click that. It's going to put that text box right into your document. All right, that is the very first part of this question. So we just inserted an Austin quote text box. The second part says to move the quote into the text box. So now I'm going to have to select the quote and move it, just like we did last week working on our other project. We moved the quote that started, or the text that started with the word note. We selected that and dragged and dropped it into our text box. We're going to do the exact same thing here. The very first thing we have to do is select the text. So starting right before the quotation marks, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag to the end of the word city. Now, really important, take a look at what happens here. If I go past the word city and I hit that paragraph mark, it selects my text box. And that's going to make this question impossible to do. So you have to just move a little bit backwards so you select just the word city. You have to actually take your cursor and drag down into the line and move it to the word city. If you go too far, back up a little bit, just to the word city. All right. Let go. You've got it selected. Now all we have to do is drag and drop it. Just like we did with our penguin, we dragged and dropped that. Or our note last week. Click it with your mouse. Don't let go. Hover over the text box and drop. Let go. It's going to put that information into your text box, and that is how you complete that task. Mark it completed. And we're on to number 4. All right, task 4. We are going to apply the paintbrush artistic effect to the ice cream graphic. All right, a graphic can be a picture, it can be a shape. In this case, it is the ice cream. Graphic could also be a 3D image or smart art. So our ice cream graphic is a picture of the ice cream. Click it. You might have to click it twice. You want to make sure that you've got these circles around the outside. And you'll also know you've got it selected because your picture format tab will come up, right? So I've got this selected, and that allows me to have access to the picture format tab, which is usually where I'm going to complete a step that has to do with a picture, right? Picture format tab. So first step, click the ice cream. Second step, click the picture format tab. All right, next step, we're going to work our way backwards, remember? So usually what it is at the end, and what kind of what it is at the beginning. So it's an artistic effect. So I'm looking for the word artistic effects in my ribbon. So moving left to right, here I can see artistic effects. I'm going to click that arrow so I can see them all. And then this is where I have to hover until I find the one I'm looking for. Now, usually we can make an educated guess, so we don't spend time looking through every single one, but I have no idea what a paintbrush artistic effect looks like, so I'm just going to have to start going through them one by one. So the one with the box around is what we already have. That's none. I'm going to move to the next one and hover. That's marker, not the one I'm looking for. Next one, pencil grayscale. A good one to know, but not the one I'm looking for. Here's an even more important one to know, pencil sketch, but not the one I'm looking for. Next one. Oh, it didn't come up right away. Now, when you hover over something, it should come up fairly quickly. If it doesn't, go back and try again. There we go, line drawing. All right, I'm going to move down to the next line and keep going. That one is chalk sketch, still not the one I'm looking for. Paint strokes, nope. Paintbrush, woohoo, we found it. Now, these are in no particular order. A lot of times they'll be in alphabetical order, or you can make a guess based on what it's supposed to look like. For this one, we just had to hover, and luckily for us, it's near the beginning because we don't want to spend too much time looking, right? So paintbrush. Notice it does not say paintbrush artistic effect. It is an artistic effect. Paintbrush is what kind of artistic effect. So click on that. Changes that to the paintbrush effect, and that is how you complete task 4. Mark completed. All right, task 5, we're on to the next one. Click on task 5. Your ice cream graphic should still be selected, but if it isn't, click on it. Make sure you've got your circles around the outside and your picture format tab, because again, we're going to use our picture format tab in order to complete this step. And this time, it's a lot of words. Apply the 3D rotation, parallel, off-axis 1, right, picture effect. So again, we're going to work backwards to start with. We're going to look at the last 2 words. It's a picture effect. Okay, so that's like the noun of this. Technically not, but picture effect is the noun. And then the beginning of it is like the adjective. Okay, what kind of noun, right? So picture effect is what I'm looking for up here on my ribbon. I'm just going to start looking from the left. And here I can see right there, picture effects. I'm going to use that arrow. And now I'm going to start working from the beginning forward, okay? So what kind of picture effect? First thing we're going to choose is 3D rotation. So down here on the bottom, 3D rotation. Next thing I'm looking for is parallel. You can see right here, I've got a parallel group. And I'm going to look at the first one and see what it says. Isometric left down, that's not the one I'm looking for. Let's try the next one. Isometric right up. Well, it's not the one I'm looking for, but it is right. So I'm going to choose another one that's angled to the right and see if that one will work. And I'm hovering, but it's not telling me right away, so I'm going to move my mouse and go back and try it again. Off axis 1 right. That's the one I'm looking for. So 3D rotation, parallel, off axis 1 right. Click on it. And that is how you complete that task. Mark it completed. And this is where we're going to grade our project. And if you were working on this on your own at home, when you grade the project, it'll show you which ones you missed, and you could go back and retry any of the ones you wanted. But for today, we're going to keep going. So you'll just keep any of the ones that you missed, keep them in mind. We can go back in the end if you need to increase your percentage to 70%. But for today, we're going to click grade project. We're going to see how we did, and then we're going to keep going. So grade project for everyone. Give it a minute. Be patient. You will get a box with feedback. It'll show you task 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hopefully you've got green check marks next to them. Regardless, we are all going to click next. If you missed any at this point, you would have a red X, just like Jasper Active. All right, click next. It's going to load our next project. All right, now, something about this project that always comes up for me. You may or may not be getting a security message or a message that tells us that personal information removal is enabled. And that's not something we want to happen, because sometimes we have to leave personal information in the document and it might affect us later on during this practice test. So if you're getting this message in yellow that says personal information removal enabled, you're going to click change setting. There is another one that comes up about proofing being turned off. You can dismiss that. Dismiss that message so you don't show that again. So don't show again. Okay? All right. Remember, we always skip the overview button. That doesn't exactly exist on the test. It used to, but it's not there anymore. So we just skip overview and we're on to task 1. You should still see the help, the blue button. Once you turn it on, it's on. I could click it to turn it off, but it doesn't hurt to leave it on. And we're going to be going to the last page to bookmark the heading World Class Ski Resorts. Now to do this, let's use our navigation pane. So click into your document, and then on the exam, a lot of the times, I'm going to want you to use your navigation pane, and that is hold down the control key and hit the F. Okay, that's going to open up your navigation pane. We've got 3 different options: results, pages, and headings. I want to look at pages. So I'm going to click on pages, and it's going to show me all of the pages of the document. And on the last page, that's where I'm going to be working. So I'm going to click on page 3. It's going to take me to the last page. So that was click into your document, hold down control and hit the F. F for find. It's not technically find, but it helps us find things with that navigation pane, right? It's not find and replace, but it does help us find things. Control F, open up that navigation pane. Get used to having that turned on during your test. The other thing, make sure you have on still is your paragraph markings, right? That's in the home tab, show hide. Once you turn it on, it should stay on. Make sure you've got that on. Might help in the future. All right. On the last page, we are going to bookmark the heading World Class Ski Resorts, and we're going to name the bookmark Resorts. All right, so we know we're going to name it Resorts, so we could go ahead and copy the word Resorts right now. If you're taking the exam, any word that is underlined, it'll be a dotted underline. If you click it, it copies it automatically. That doesn't work the same on this test, but we can still select the word. It can be difficult, but we can. The word resorts, just that word. And then the shortcut to copy is Control C. Hold down that Control key and hit the C. All right. And then we have to select our heading, World Class Ski Resorts. So we're going to bookmark the heading, World Class Ski Resorts, and that is right here next to our map image. And start before the W and drag to the S. Now, really important, just like with our text box, you just select the text. If I go further past the S in the word resorts, it selects the map image, and I don't want the map image selected. I just want World Class Ski Resorts. Okay, so you need to select World Class Ski Resorts. Okay, then we are going to come to our Insert tab. And then right here in the middle, you should see the word bookmark. If you see a link button, you're going to click the link button and then you should see bookmark. Some of you cannot see the word bookmark without clicking link button first. But if you see bookmark, click it. Otherwise, click the link arrow and then click bookmark. That should open up a bookmark box. It's asking us for the name, and I've already copied it, so I'm just going to paste it. I'm going to hold down Control and hit the V. V for victory, because we are working smarter, not harder, right? V to paste. Or, alternatively, you are typing the word resorts. Don't forget your capital R, or you'll get it wrong. And click Add. All right, once you do that, it disappears. This is the kind of thing, it's like oxygen. You can't see it, but you know it's there. Okay, as long as you click Add and the box closed, then you have added your bookmark, and that is how you complete this task. Mark it as answered. Well, completed, technically. Mark completed, green one right there. And we're moving on to task 2. All right, task 2 tells us immediately below the heading Table of Contents, insert a custom table of contents displayed in the formal format that displays only the following styles at the associated levels. All right, so first thing I have to do is find the heading Table of Contents. And a table of contents is in the beginning of a book, right? So it's also in the beginning of a paper. So I'm going to look up here in my pages, and I can actually see on page 1, I can see the word Table of Contents. So I'm going to click on page 1. It's going to take me to that Table of Contents page. And then I'm going to click on the empty paragraph space right below it. So this is page 1. Page 0 is actually a title page. That's why it says page 0. Usually it would say page 1, but it's a title page. So it's a little bit different. So I'm going to click on page 1 and then click on the paragraph right below the words Table of Contents. If you have your show hide markings on, this is a lot easier to see. All right. And on an exam, you might be asked to insert a table of contents, and that would be to throw you off, right? Because our table of contents is part of a book, and because it's part of a book, it's going to be on our references tab. Now, again, you don't have to memorize all of the ribbon, but you have to know kind of where to look. So, insert tab, you might look there. You might give it a quick glance. I don't see a table of contents. And then I would remember, oh, that's right. It's about a book. Might be on the references tab. Not to be confused with the bookmark that is on the insert tab, just for fun. So references tab right there. All the way to the left is our table of contents. Now, something else that this is commonly confused is a table, right? A table of contents is on the references tab, and that is something you find in the beginning of a book. It tells you what page each chapter starts on. A table, like we worked with in the very first task, where we sorted our table alphabetically, is information that is arranged, data that is arranged in a table fashion, right? So table of contents, totally different than a table, and a table of contents is on the references tab. All right, all the way here, left, table of contents, click that arrow. On the exam, you might be asked to insert a specific kind of table. You may have to choose one of these, but on this practice exam, it's asking us to insert a custom table of contents, and that is right here. This is also how you would edit a table of contents. So if you're asked to insert a table of contents and then go back and regenerate it or modify it, just means to change it, regenerate, then you're going to use the custom table of contents button. Okay, so we are going to create a custom table of contents right off the bat. Click custom table of contents. I get a table of contents box. And this section right here in the lower right is what I'm going to focus on. So general section, formats. I'm able to choose what type of format. And looking at the question, it tells me to display the formal format. So instead of from template, I'm going to choose formal. And then it's telling me to display only the following styles at the associated levels. And looking at the levels, I can see that there are 4 levels. It automatically comes with a 3 level, and I need to use my up arrow to make that 4. Okay, so formal and 4 levels. But this one goes even a little further, and I have to number those levels. And this is where we're going to use our options button. So first step was to make it formal, show 4 levels, and then click that options box. And I have to go through and match the styles on the left to the number I'm going to put on the right. So looking at my directions, caption is the first one, and that's supposed to be number 4. So here I'm looking on the left, I've got balloon text. The next one is caption. So because that's the word caption, I'm going into the box next to it, and I'm going to type number 4. So I have to match numbers on the right to the words on the left. So I'm going to look down below. I notice that the next one says cover title, and that's got a number 1. And cover title is not something in my levels, so I'm just going to click before the 1 and hit backspace to take that out. Okay, and I'm going to keep going down the list. Right, these are in alphabetical order. So I'm going to use my little arrow right here to keep moving through each of these. Heading 1, let's see, heading 1, if I look into my directions, heading 1 is supposed to be a number 2. So I'm going to make this a 2 and change that 1 to 2. You can either click after it and backspace and put your number in, or you can select your number and type your new one. All right, looking further down, heading 2 is supposed to be the number 3. So where it says heading 2, I'm going to make that 3. Or click and backspace and put in the number 3. Now there is no heading 3, so I need to remove this number. So I'm clicking after the 3, backspace to remove it. Also no heading 4, clicking after the 4, backspace to remove it. And then I'm going to keep scrolling down. The very last one I'm looking for is title. And title down here is supposed to be number 1. So I've just gone through and matched all of the available styles on the left in my directions to the number that it told me to use. So title should be number 1. If I scroll up, heading 1 is number 2. Heading 2 is number 3. And then all the way at the top, caption is number 4. Okay, click OK. And now I've got title 1, heading 1 is 2, heading 2 is 3, caption is 4. I am ready to proceed. Click OK. And here we've got our table of contents. Now again, if you were asked to change or regenerate this, you do not have to do this for your test, but I want you to know how to do it for your exam. You would click into your table of contents, go back up to your table of contents, and back into your custom table of contents, and that's how you would regenerate or change the table of contents. All right, we are going to mark that completed. And then at this time, we are going to go to our summary. So go to summary. And save test. Save test. Do not finish test because you'll have to start over next time. But you're going to save test. Click save test. And then it's asking me, all right, you want to save the test. Cancel, we don't want that. Local, that would be on your computer, or cloud, which is in cyberspace, right? Remember, we always save to the cloud because in the chance that something happens to your computer, you lose it, you drop it, it doesn't work anymore, you will still have access to everything in the cloud. And you might think that won't happen to me, but it does happen. If you have to get a loaner computer from the library, they'll wipe it clean. So make sure you're always using the cloud to save things, just like your OneDrive, right? Click cloud and be patient while it saves. We will pick up again with this during social studies. Be patient while it's saving to the cloud. It can take some time. And then be ready to resume test the next time I see you. I have to wait while it saves to the cloud. So while it's doing that, I will just remind you to please be nice to my mice. You're going to wrap up your mice, put them away neatly in the pocket, and then remember that you need to be in your seat when the bell rings so you can be released. So make sure you head back to your seat and have a seat so you can be released on time. All right, we'll see you next time.